I wish to thank my sponsor for November, Linda M. It is truly appreciated. If you're interested in sponsoring, you can click into the details below, and there's some information in the link on where you can sponsor me. Once again, thank you. Welcome back. Well, I'm using up some paint, and I know there are many people who don't like using canvas boards. I don't have that much of a problem with them. This is a different brand that I've tried before. This is Soho Urban Artist Canvas Panel. It's a 6x12. If they start to warp, you know, usually you got to, this dries pretty quick. So if it's warping, it's because the cardboard, the canvas, the board that's covered by the canvas has gotten wet and it's starting to warp as it dries. You can simply take and just do a counterflex of whatever direction it's warping. So like if it warped arched this way, I would take and I would just kind of press down here gently, but because the surface paint dries pretty quick on these, because it's just the way it is. If that doesn't work, I do have a video showing how I do this, but if it doesn't work, many people spritz the back of them and then put a book over them once they're completely dry. Like I said, I don't have a problem, so I'm not sweating it. Okay, I am getting ready to use up some more paint. I've got quite a bit of paint that I'm trying to get used up, that I mixed for different things and didn't use it all. I've got a bunch of my standard paints I have mixed, but these are things that they've been mixed a little bit, so I want to get them used up. So today's pours are going to be browns and tans, the earth tones, that are not my standard color. I shouldn't say standard colors because I do use them some, but they aren't my go-to colors. That's the best way to put it. So, and I'm going to take this canvas. One of the things I tend to do a lot of times is I try to make sure I don't use a lot of excess paint. So we're going to cross our fingers because what I want to do in this. Got to grab my paper towels here just to be able to wipe off my palette knife as I stir these and check them. So I'm just going to double check to make sure the consistency of the paints. Nice. That one's a little thick, but that's good. These may or may not have silicone. I'm not going to add silicone to this. I'm just going to use what I've got. So I don't know what has and what hasn't. So I'm just going to start pulling out some colors. Because I've got 3 of these panels, and I'm just going to do similar type pours on them. I'm not going to do like pour next to each other. I don't want them to be like they were poured to be together. They're going to more be complementary, not necessarily to match or to blend. So I'm going to move this out of the way while I finish doing some of this thing. Who knows? It's sort of wonky, but it works. So that one was okay. These paints may not be quite as problematic as some of the others that I did the other week. This is Splendid Gold from Deco Arts Metallics. Yep, it's good. There's copper. I'm going to get this is a copper. I want to get these kind of all stirred, and it's good. So I've got 4 colors. Let me pick another color here. That's that dark. Let's use a medium brown. This is Liquitex Burnt Umber. I don't know if some of you may have seen in my previous videos. This is one of those that when I mixed it, I'm pretty sure this is the one. This is lumpy, chunky, lumpy, chunky. And many people complain about their paints, typically metallics, kind of be, some being lumpy or chunky, and they think it's old. I don't think it's old. I think it is the pigments that they use. And sometimes they don't get, when you try to use them in this manner or to thin them, the pigments are just a little thicker. So, personal opinion, not necessarily anybody's going to agree with it. That's my pearl white. I use that with something else a little bit. So, I think that's what we're going to use for now. And I'm going to use white as my base, my background. And I'm going to do 3 little cups. So we're just going to get started here. And no, I'm not putting white on the bottom. May do 2 cups with this being a little smaller canvas. Just make them a little fuller. And a little copper. Okay, there's one. That's what I'm going to do. So this time I'm going to start this one with copper or gold, this color. This color, and I felt the paint on the hand, on the glove. This color, a little more copper. Okay, and now we're going to flip them. So I didn't do a greatest flip there today. And then I'm going to add some white paint. My favorite things to do. And we're going to just do sort of like a flip and drag. This is pre-mixed white paint, just my standard latex or white paint with floetrol. And we're just going to kind of start tilting the white paint around. Yeah, it's not one to run everywhere. Yuck. Yuck. There's a boogie. I don't think that's floetrol. I think that's a boogie from the paint. The inside of this container. It's the problem when you mix it up in a container you've used before. If you're not careful, if it gets dry, semi-dried gunk on the inside. This is a lot of paint. I'm working on getting back into the habit of using less paint for boards, but that's okay. And I'll be pushing it around, getting most of this white off. The white is, I want some negative space, but so there we go. So that's cleaned off. And we're going to go ahead and just start weaving this around. And I just pulled a lot of it off. That wasn't what I intended. Yep, there's some silicone, I'd say. But that's okay. It'll make a skin underneath here. Now then, wipe my fingers off a little bit. I'm going to start tilting. I said, this may not end up being much negative space. But that's okay. Well, I kind of like these colors. They're fun. Once again, they kind of remind me of chocolate coated caramels. I'm trying to just pull this down so it starts to pull off. Tilting it back this way so it comes down off this corner. Try not to drip on my lap. That look good. Looks good enough to eat, doesn't it? Yeah, dripping everywhere. So, yes, I get quiet, like many of us do when we're concentrating. Trying to get a little more, make sure that the white's over the edge. Since I didn't pull any paint down this way. Now, drop some more off the sides. What I'm doing here is there's just a tad bit of no paint area, or not really no paint, it's just not thick. I can see the texture of the canvas, which is okay. I don't mind that happening, but I want to make sure that there had was a chance that there had been paint there. So we're gonna just touch up that corner. Make sure there's not any dripping off the edges again. Turn this around this way. Scoop up some more white. There we go. Put more white off the edge. And scrape that. And that one's done. I'm going to pause you while I get things set up for the second one. Okay. I originally was going to do all 3 pours and all on one video, but as I finished the pours, they were taking longer. So these videos are being shot afterwards. So this is pour number 1. Like I said, I just, you know, I can't, I get amazed sometimes at these times, how some of these cells are so tiny and yet very defined. And personally, I think why I get some cells like this one is in like this here is because of the floetrol. You know, I don't know. Like I mentioned, I'm wanting to do some experimenting of no silicone, just floetrol only, and some additional things, just to see what happens and what I can end up with. But so this was pour number 2. No, pour number 1. Sorry. And till the next video, get to see the part 2 of the 3 pours, and be back shortly with it.